Alright, so you have this method here. It takes a single array, and it gets the average of it, which will be returned as a double type, right? And this works for single array. That's a double type. But the thing about it is that this will not apply to a two-dimensional array, right? You learn two-dimensional arrays as something like this, where it'll be 0, 1, 2, 8, 6, 4, 3, 2, 12, whatever, something to that effect. It's an example. And you learn that it's indexed by its row and its column numbers. Alright, so then, you know how to get a single element of this array, where, it would be, if this array's name was x, you would, in order to get this element in the center, 6, it would be x row number followed by the column number. And that's how you would get the center element. But another way to look at it would be like this. You could think of this as a single array. So and we'll just name it x for now. It's different from the x we just drew earlier. And then within this single array, there's another array. And this array has 3 elements to it. So 1, so 0, 1, 2. And if we look here again, then it becomes 8, 6, 4, and then here. And then here this becomes 3, 2, 12. Alright. So what happens when you think of this way then? In the way that I just described to you? Well, if you take a good look at it, you could see now that what x0 would be. This is the 0, 1, 2 for the x array. So x0 would equal 0, 1, 2. Well, actually, this should be one of those. But anyways, so you see, at x0, it's 0, 1, 2. Then an x1 would obviously be, 8, 6, 4. x2 would be 3, 2, 12. So the thing about it is it's an array with arrays in them. Alright. So now then, how could you use this method from earlier to compute, say, the average? Well, think about it this way. What happens if you get the average of this first array, get the average of the second array, get the average of the third array? Okay? So average 1, average 2, and average 3. Okay? Now, what happens if you average these 3 guys together? Well, then you'll get a resulting average, which would be the average of all the values that you had in that array. So this would be the final average. So now do you see how you could use this method here? What you could do is you could divide the two-dimensional array into single-dimensional arrays is what you would call it. And once you divide this up into single-dimensional arrays, then what you could do is you could calculate the average of each array using your method, right? The method up here. And then after you calculate each individual average, you could average those together to get the final average. Now that's the basic idea. You could also do the same to get the minimum value in this two-dimensional array, where what you could do is you could divide each two-dimensional array into 3 rows, and then get the minimum from each row, right? And then from there you could get, so you'd have, so instead of, let's see here, let's do this. Let's see if this works. Nope, I guess not. Alright. Well, oh. So, well, instead of getting the averages here, you could do min 1, and well, ignore this, min 2, and then min 3. And then you could compare these, and the smallest of those three would be min final. Okay, so that's how you get the min final based on having a smaller method that checks the minimum for each row. Okay? And that's pretty much how you could use it.